Good morning and welcome to the City of Keystone Heights City Hall. I appreciate all of you being here today, and we want to start off our day with our pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Booth, would you give us a roll call?
Yes, ma'am, I can do that. Councilman Ludwig.
Present.
Vice Mayor Welch.
Present.
Mayor Woodroff.
Present.
Madam Mayor, you've got a quorum.
Thanks. Two of our team could not be here today due to work commitments. So it's good that I have my guys here today with me. So first of all, before we start with our introductions, I want to go to a video that's going to give you guys a kind of high-level view of what actually happens here. And I think before we kind of get into the mock meeting, I think it will help you to kind of understand what our roles are and how we do things.
Right here in Florida, where there's sunshine all the time. Well, unless there's a hurricane, of course. Or one of those 1-hour afternoon rainstorms. Anyway, my neighbors are real friendly and we like to help each other out.
Hey, Bob, need some help? Why, yes, I do.
One day, we decided we wanted a community park. It would have a playground, and a baseball field, and a soccer field, and walking trails, and one of those big water fountains you could run in and out of and get wet. We wanted everything you could think of.
Who's gonna mow the grass?
What about lights for night games?
What about maintenance?
Where's the water coming from for the fountain?
So, you see, we could really use some help in figuring out how to do this.
Hey, why don't you form a municipality?
A what?
You know, a city, a town, a village. They all mean the same thing in Florida. A municipality. It's a community. Doesn't matter what size, really, that's run by the people who live there. Kind of like a business. In fact, municipalities are actually corporations with very specific powers.
Really? So, how would it work?
Well, let's say a group of neighbors, like yours for example, all decide they want more services than they have now. You know, like a shared water system instead of each person having their own well, and a central sewer system instead of each person having a septic tank, and a fire truck, with firemen of course, in case someone's house catches on fire, and police officers to protect everyone.
Whoa, who's gonna pay for all of that? And who's in charge?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Who's in charge here?
When you form a municipality, you elect a handful of people to be city officials, sometimes as little as 3, but usually 5 or 7. It's best to have an odd number in case they vote on something and need a tiebreaker. The city officials are called commissioners or council members, and the leader of the group is usually called the mayor, but not always. The residents of a city then decide which services they want and write it all down in their charter.
A charter?
Yep, a city's charter is kind of like its constitution, a social contract of sorts that is adopted by the people it governs. Every city in Florida has one, and it can only be changed by the residents, not the elected officials.
Thank you for the charter.
But wait, I'd like to change something.
Sorry, can't do that. Only the people can do that. See ya.
Okay, but you still didn't tell me how it all gets paid for.
Ah yes, that's where property taxes and user fees come in.
Property taxes? User fees?
That's what homeowners and businesses pay based on the value of the actual property they own. It's based on a thing called the millage rate.
Millage rate?
Yeah, I know. It's a funny word. It's actually Latin, and it means thousand.
Not a million?
No, I know that mill sounds more like million, but it means thousand. Anyway, when it comes to property taxes, 1 mil is 0.001, or 1/1000. So, if a property is valued at 100,000 and you multiply it by 0.001, the amount of the property tax would be...
10?
Nope.
1,000?
Try again. Come on, use those math skills. You can do it.
100?
Right.
Yes! I knew that.
Sure you did. Before a millage rate can be set, the people running the city need to know a few things first, like how many residents live inside the municipal boundaries. You probably call it the city limit. How many people receive services? How much do the services actually cost? What about city employees? You then take all of these numbers divided by the total value of all the properties.
And you're doing math.
I know, but we need to know these things so everyone pays their fair share for all the city provides.
I guess I should have paid more attention in math class. Okay, that's what property taxes and user fees are for. Got it.
Right. And they pay for all sorts of services that enhance our quality of life.
Like parks and rec,
Right. And solid waste and garbage disposal.
and water, and sewage,
There you go. How about libraries? That's where I learned all this stuff.
and cemeteries, and urban planning and economic development.
You got it. And others to keep the public safe, like
The police department,
the fire department.
building inspection.
And the people you call when a wild alligator climbs a fence into your yard.
Whoa, what?
You know, animal control.
Oh, right.
And transportation, airports, buses, road maintenance, bicycle paths, sidewalks.
Wow, I guess cities really do provide a lot of services. But again, who's in charge of it all?
It depends. Some cities choose the mayor council form of government, and some choose the council manager system.
Wow, I thought this was going to be easy.
It's not that hard. In a mayor council form of government, you can either have a strong mayor or a weak mayor.
Strong? You mean like weightlifter strong? What does that have to do with government?
I'm not talking about personalities or physique. I'm referring to political power. A strong mayor has lots of responsibilities and can make some important decisions on his own. A weak mayor has the same power and responsibilities as the other council members. In this case, the mayor just runs the meetings. In a council manager form, however, the elected officials are more like a board of directors, and they hire a CEO to run things at the city. That's called a city manager. There are other forms too, but these are the main ones.
Well, which one is the best?
That's a great question, but it's hard to answer.
I thought you said this was going to be easy.
Listen, it all comes back to what do the people want. Do they want one person in charge or several? Do they want those in charge to be elected or just take direction from electeds? All these questions are answered by the people of a given community based on their needs.
How do you know what kind of city you live in?
Remember the charter? It holds lots of answers.
Okay, Mrs. Smarty Pants. You didn't talk about the military. Who's in charge of that?
Well, that's the federal government. In the United States, we have several layers of government that do different things. We have the federal government, that's the big one in Washington, D.C., and it has 3 branches of government. The executive branch, that's the president, the legislative branch, Congress, and the judicial branch, Supreme Court. Those 3 branches affect laws governing the whole country. Then there are 50 states, and each one has at least 3 branches of government, just like the federal government. In Florida, the executive branch is the governor's office. The legislative branch is the state legislature in Tallahassee, and the judicial branch is the state Supreme Court. Then there are counties. In Florida, counties are basically tiny states with yet another layer of government. There are 67 of those. Did you know no matter where you go in the state, you're always in a county? Then there's school districts and water management districts and fire districts and hundreds more special districts.
So, municipal government is where people that live in a community make decisions for just the people in that community.
Right. It's called home rule. The people of Florida granted cities and counties the right to make their own decisions about their own services in their own communities right at home, without having to go to Tallahassee or Washington, D.C. to get approval, with some exceptions.
I see. Okay, so what happens if some people who live in a community don't agree? Like, let's say that some people want a pool in the park and other people want a baseball field with lights. But there's only enough money in the budget to do one thing or the other. Do they go to the state legislature?
Nope. Those decisions are made right at home by the municipal or county government. To solve that problem, one option would be to increase the millage rate. Remember millage rate? Which would raise taxes to pay for both. But if nobody wants to pay more taxes, what will probably happen is the city officials will hold a public meeting where everyone is invited. That's the best part about local government. You get to have a voice in what happens. You can text, email, call, or even better, show up and speak. Once all the positions are heard, the city officials will take a vote and then tell city staff what to do based on the outcome.
But what if you don't like the decision that was made?
Well, you might not always get what you want, But if you don't like it, you can always move to another town, or protest, or run for office.
You know, it seems to me that local government affects our communities much more than any other layer of government.
Absolutely. It's the government closest and most responsive to the people. We need local government. Elected officials and the staff they employ are the best equipped to respond to and make decisions about the local communities they serve. They know that what works in Miami or Tampa may not work in Live Oak or Chattahoochee, and that's okay. Florida has over 400 cities, and they are all different, with different people, with different needs, with different cool things about them.
I like that about our state. It's filled with diversity.
I like it too.
So remember that park that my neighbors and I wanted to build?
I want a volleyball court. What about a rock wall? I want a climbing
How
rock
about a disc
wall.
golf course?
What? A disc golf course?
Why not?
I don't think so.
Now that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, who's gonna pay for that?
What about another bathroom? We could use another bathroom.
Everyone, stop fighting. Let's take this to City Hall.
And that is city government in a nutshell.
Sounds really familiar.
It's a great video.
It's put on by the Florida League of Cities. And I selected this video because I felt like I wanted to reach you guys with your age group. I felt like you might, at a higher level, kind of want to understand kind of how we operate here. We're doing the 4th grade field trip in the next week, and their videos are a lot lesser information, a little more cartoon-like, kind of, although that was too, but has a lot of facts as to how we actually operate. Bill, can you go to the first slide? So this building here was built in 1964. John Lawrence is who developed our city. Bought Brooklyn, Florida, and made it into Keystone Heights in 1921 or 1925. But he bought the city, Brooklyn, in 1921. And so the building on the bottom there is the original town council meeting back in the day. That it became, it says here, it's across from the Keystone Inn, which was across the street here in this location. And then that was torn down, and then this building was built in the 60s. Next slide, Bill. So I want us to go around a little bit, and then I'm gonna have you guys introduce yourselves as well to us. And I'll start off with Councilman Ludwig and let him tell you a little bit about himself, and we're just gonna give you all a brief intro about us. And we have plenty of time to chat.
Cool. So my name is Brandon Ludwig. I probably know either, if I don't know you personally, I probably know your parents. I graduate, so I am the newest city council member. I was appointed back in November when we had a vacancy, and earlier this year I was actually elected unopposed. I'm actually the youngest currently serving elected official north of I-4, so I'm the youngest serving elected official anywhere, county, city, in North Florida, which is pretty cool. And I'm proud to be from here. This tells you how young I am. I'm not much past you guys. I graduated from the high school back in 2018. We went to high school together. It's great to be back here. I've had the opportunity to live in a few other places, and there's no place like home. And outside of this, city council, as the mayor and the others will tell you, is not a full-time job. It's definitely a part-time job, but you do put in a lot of hours if you do it the right way. But I actually work up in Jacksonville at a helicopter manufacturing company for military helicopters, and I serve on the board of a state political organization. So kind of all over the place, but that's what I do in addition to getting to do this. So that is me. And I live right across from the high school, so I get to hear your bells 24/7.
And you were just elected from the county commissioners to serve on the board for the Northeast Florida.
So yes, so I also represent each county. So you obviously have your city council, but you have a regional council as well. So every county appoints 3 people who represent you on like regional issues. So like, for example, if there's a major, how many of you guys have heard of Oakleaf? You've probably heard of Oakleaf. We're beating them in a lot of sports lately, which is great to see. But Oakleaf was a major multi-county project between Duval, where a lot of the shopping is up at Oakleaf Plantation, and the houses, which are in Clay County. Down here, where you look at the airport, which is in, half of it is in Clay County, the other half is in Bradford. So the regional council handles a lot of those types of issues, transportation, things like bus systems, things like that. And so each county appoints 2 county commissioners to serve, as well as one city official to serve. So I'm Clay County, as she mentioned, I'm Clay County's municipal official dealing with that. So what I am tasked with right now, it's called it's from the governor's office, the Military Installation Readiness Review. And you're like, what the heck is that? And basically what it is, we have a lot of military bases up here in this region. Jacksonville has the third most of any part of the country. We have Naval Air Station Jacksonville, which is where the Blue Angels do a lot of their air shows. Naval Station out at Mayport, if you guys have ever been out there camping. So not Cecil anymore. There's a few others, but the reason that I was asked to serve on it is Camp Blanding is actually a key part of that. And Camp Blanding is actually the home of Florida's National Guard, where they do a lot of their operations like that. And so part of that is making sure, what do we have in terms of, say there's a statewide emergency, a hurricane, or some type of emergency that you're going to have to deal with. We want to make sure that our facilities, whether it's the National Guard, whether it is the Navy, whether it's the Army, they have the resources that they need in those regions to be able to respond effectively. In the case, we don't really deal with hurricanes as bad on this side of the state as say, but for example, we've had hurricanes before. When we had Hurricane Michael come through the Panhandle a few years ago, where our airport was used as the emergency operations center for staging to handle some of those things at the time. So that's kind of some of the stuff that I get to do with that, and it's pretty cool on that end. But with that said, please go on and talk about yourself.
We need more Brandons, so y'all step up.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about
I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a minute. My name's Dave Welch. I occupy seat number 2. We don't sit in seat order. As you can tell, I can blink way faster than a camera flash. My background is in aerospace engineering. I was privileged to work on many of the missile and weapon systems that you read about and hear about on the news. And retired about 5 years ago, just as COVID hit. My grandchildren, my son, daughter, and grandchildren live here, and so that was a strong draw toward to Keystone Heights. And it was like God's plan to bring us here. We've been so happy. This is a terrific town. I've lived in a lot of places, and this beats them all. I was elected, it was almost exactly 1 year ago today, and again, from my experience in the campaigning from January through 1st of April last year, beat the pavement, got to know and meet a lot of people here in town, and that just strengthened my belief that Keystone is a unique place, and you'll discover that, and more and more how blessed you are to have grown up here as you move on. One of the things I wanted to do, I told you I was elected, and I ran for office just because I've never done it before. But moved in, came to a few council meetings, moved around town, I'd like to help make some of these things happen. So I ran, was lucky to get elected by 5 votes. So if you ever think that your vote doesn't count in an election, think again. Okay? Get involved, vote, get acquainted with the issues. And our relatively little town has faced and is facing every one of the issues that you that you saw presented in this video: power, sewer, drainage, streets, lighting, on down the list. And sometimes it's all going on at once. And sometimes a big thing pops up that demands our attention, but there's a lot going on, just a lot going on, and we need more young folks to get involved. We need your energy and ideas, things that, and by the way, come to these meetings. We have meetings the first Monday of every month. Come sit in and see what goes on and what the issues are, and speak up. Ask questions, raise your voice. I can't think of anything else to say, so I'll pass you along to our mayor.
Great job. Well, so a little bit about me. I moved to Keystone Heights in 2017. We bought the Lawrence home, which is the green one on the hill. He is the founder here, and it was the first property built here. It's an old Sears Kit house. So it used to be you could go order your house out of a catalog. So our house cost about $2,500. It was shipped by rail car into Keystone, and then he hired someone to put it together, almost like Legos. And we kept it pretty original. It's actually the largest private property in the city. It sits on about 3 acres. But anyway, and we have usually a tour of the house once a year through the Heritage Commission. The public is invited to come in and take a look around. So hopefully I'll see you guys at the house one day. It's a pretty special place.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. But, you know, we moved here. We lived in Jax for 32 years. And then I started in healthcare back in 1971 as an 18-year-old straight out of high school in Warner Robins, Georgia. And my husband and I had met in high school, and I knew he was going to go on to Georgia, was the plan. And I didn't honestly know what I was going to do. I had done a lot of secretarial. Back then, women were not real prevalent in the workforce at that time. Mainly as secretaries, typists, those types of things, nurses maybe. But I knew nothing about science. I think I had physical science in the 9th grade, and I was walking around looking for a summer job that year of 1971. I walked into a laboratory that was part of the one across the street of the hospital, private laboratory, and they introduced me into anatomic pathology. I became a histotechnologist at 19 years old. So they brought me in, did on-the-job training, and anatomic pathology, I don't know if any of you all know what a histotechnologist does. So that's when you go and you have skin biopsy, for example, due to sunburn, whatever, and has to go out for analysis to determine if you have cancer or what it might be. Or if somebody has cancer and they take that organ and they look at it and decide what type of cancer it is and maybe what kind of treatment is going to occur. So that was what I did. I would take those specimens and process them for microscopic review. And then from that is how they decide the treatment and the modality of care for those individuals. So I did histotechnology in a variety of laboratories over 26 years, in probably 7 different laboratories in the United States, including the CDC in Atlanta, where I developed a laboratory very similar to the Wuhan lab in China, special containment. That was quite an experience. My last job was at University of Florida, UF Jax in Jacksonville, but it was University Medical Center at the time, where I ran a laboratory for tumor diagnostics and did a lot of developmental procedures and got to speak throughout the state and nationwide about those procedures back then. So back in '96 is when I joined one of the largest healthcare companies, corporate healthcare in the world, Abbott Laboratories. And actually, just as a reference point, they developed all the COVID testing that you now see being used. But every diagnostic that you can imagine, test that they can run on any fluid, liquid in your body, they have testing that will help you do that. So I had a variety of roles within that organization. And in 19 and 20, I'm trying to remember now the dates, 2023, I decided at 70 to retire. And I had some folks come up to me. I was also chair of the Heritage Commission at the time and asked me about being a mayor. Honestly, I didn't know anything about being a mayor, nothing. And learned a lot. I owe a lot of thanks to Brandon. I got to meet Brandon back then and before he was ever on council, and he gave me a lot of great coaching, introduced me to some special people, not only at the local level, but at the state level. And, I thought, maybe I can come in here and try to make a difference. And really the basic skills that I bring to this is the business knowledge, the experience I had in corporate America, and expectations, and how do you work toward goals, how do you achieve goals, how do you lead, try to get people into working with you and wanting to work with you. I'm very proud to say now I'm in my 3rd year. I just was reelected, and just like Councilman Ludwig, we'll be getting sworn in next week officially, and we'll be beginning my second term of 3 years. So the way it works in our city is we're all elected to the seat for 3-year rotations, okay? And we can sit at each seat for up to a total of 9 years if we get reelected into that spot. And I could say, well, okay, my 9 years are up, so I could go into Brandon's seat and sit for 9 years. So you could have one person sit here for more than 50 years, literally.
There's good news and bad news.
That's kind of, so what that does, it's great that you have some local people that want to do that, but it's just like any other thing. You can get to a level of complacency. You can also get to a level of not thinking outside the box. not becoming a visionary for growth in future and looking at where are we gonna be here. And again, you know, I had to take it on looking at it like this is how I would run a business, and this is how I ran multiple territories throughout those 26 years with Abbott. So the thing is, kind of cool about it, is the state actually gives us the opportunity to get educated about city government. So we're all a member of the Florida League of Cities that has a education platform at whatever level we're at to come in and learn. Now, as mayor, seat 4 for Keystone is designated as the mayor role, meaning I'm mayor for 3 years. Now, if I step down, somebody else wants to run for it, they're mayor for 3 years. In Green Cove and Orange Park, they rotate the mayor role, meaning council says, hey, you want to be mayor this year? So what we do here is our vice mayor rotates annually. To me, being in the role, and it's you for doing it for 3 years, as you can imagine, it's like any big project. You start on it, and you have this vision and plan, but then you come in and you leave out of it in a year, and that next person comes in, they have different ideas. To me, it seems a little bit of a revolving door. And I think that, honestly, at 3 years for me now, I feel like I have permission. I could call up the governor, I could call up all kinds of state representatives, because I have relationships with them. It took me 3 years to develop that. Brandon's coming to us already with those relationships before he ever stepped foot into this seat. Those are huge advantages for us. Like, we go and want money to help us with this lake. We go tap on those people's shoulders at a higher level who could influence the senators and all who make decisions on whether we get funding. So that's kind of a little bit of a background of how it works as far as, and what my role is with this. And you know, I think it's kind of a fun thing. I have a great council right now. We're very respectful of each other, and we debate about all kinds of subjects, but we finally do get to the best decision that we feel is for the community, which I'm very proud of. Let's go to the next slide. Here is our city staff. Is this when you wanted to introduce you all?
I'll go at the end after you're done with your
Okay.
portion.
Okay, we'll come back to what everyone does and their roles, and then Jamie can give you a deep dive. Next slide. So what area do we govern? You know, we see all kinds of noise about the area, like they'll complain and say, well, you know, all this building's taken over the city of Keystone Heights. You know, we don't want that here. Well, guess what? The city is only 1.2 square miles. It's literally on the, if you're heading towards Stark, it's just right there at the Clay Electric building is one of the city limits. Just beyond Walgreens is the other part of the city limit. And then right where the school sign is, as you're heading out of town, is one of the others. It's a little bit of a wonky cutout, but it's not very big. So for example, Zaxby's that went in, that's not in the city limit. So the area that we oversee and that we can have any kind of influence on is that little bitty area, just so y'all can understand that. There's not much room to go here physically with the geography. We have about 1,626 people as of 2026. The median age is 38 to 42 years old. And lately I just found out the median salary here is right at $80,000. That's kind of impressive, I think, for a small town. We have less than 300 children here under the age of 18. 37% of our families are married. 81% own their homes. So that tells me we don't have a lot of transient thing going on like you see in Orlando or maybe some places in Jacksonville. Next slide. So our council, what we do is we address a variety of things. Issues, proposals, new ordinances, projects. One thing that I took notes from the video, when it comes to CCSO, or Clay County Sheriff's Office, we hire them to cover us. People say, y'all need a substation. Well, our crime level is less than 1% for serious crimes in the city. She tracks all this regular. And, you know, when you start looking at, do we need to have police? And she told me right when I became mayor, Sheriff Cook said, the reason you don't have one is because the crime level of extreme crime is very, very low. And I would have to take one of my 5 or so officers, would have to sit in that building 24/7. That'd be one guy would be off the street, you know. It's a waste of money. And plus it would cost us probably over $500,000 a year to have that set up here in town. So went back to the whole tax thing on the video. That means taxes would go up. So those are reasons why. If we see a justifiable reason, then we would do it. But it doesn't really make sense for this community. And I'm very proud of that, that we have limited crime. Fire is also under the county, and that's again the same kind of situation. The county's taxes help to fund them. On the charter, if we had something that we wanted to change, it could be even the way we're structured. It has to be a charter change. It has to go to the public in a voting time, during a voting period for this community to decide that. So if we wanted to go to a mayor strong type of setup, like they shared in there, that would have to go to the public to vote on that. So that just kind of so you know that difference. The property tax thing, as you mentioned, you saw that with the whole mill rate and all. So property taxes, there's a lot of noise right now in the media about taking property taxes away in Florida. It's one of Governor DeSantis' missions to do this. There's a lot of negativity toward that from people like ourselves, other city managers and things like that, because it means we, as they showed in the video, we're gonna have to remove services if we wind up taking away property taxes. And when you look at the dollars, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because a lot of cities will go into what we call blight, which means we can't have events, we can't have parades, we can't refresh buildings. As you see a lot of the stuff going on, the tennis courts, basketball courts, things that are happening, those are taxes and stuff that we use to give those back to you as a citizen. So it's a pretty deep subject. And also 60% or so run under a council manager format, which is what we use here, just to kind of give you that background. So today what we're gonna do, just to give you guys kind of a real world experience of what we would do in a typical meeting, is we'll cover issues. It could be an issue at the park, and we need to talk about it at a council meeting. We ask the public to come share with us a concern. We discuss proposals that we're looking at to hire a contractor to do a particular job within the city. A new ordinance to say, recently we signed an ordinance for no smoking in the park. No smoking, no vaping in the park. We were the only park in the county of Clay that allowed smoking still. So that was a recent thing that we voted on 2 months ago. And then special projects that we want to pursue, like sewer, septic to sewer, huge project. Next slide, Bo. So step one, to the left here, you're gonna see an agenda. And the agenda item was to renovate our tennis court. I want to give you all I could give you several things that we've done that are relative to this, but I want to give you something that was most recent. And so it was to renovate our tennis courts. Well, I don't know, you guys know how long those courts have been like there? I don't know if any of y'all play tennis. Long time? It's been quite a while. I mean, they're pretty
They were built in the mid to late 1970s.
And never been redone. And one of the things that frustrated me when I took this role and looked at the history, not to, ding anybody, but it kept getting kicked down the curb. Like, oh, we'll do that next year. Oh no, it's too expensive this year. Oh, I don't play tennis. I don't think we need to promote that. This is where we come into play. I mean, I've literally heard that be said. It's not about us. It is about citizens. What do they want? And we have a very young community here. So to me, we need to focus on the things that we think they would most likely want to do. And this was something we put in our strategic plan last year, one of the 12 or 15 line items that we are gonna make happen within a 3-year period. And so I'm really proud that we were able to get to that. But this is kind of the process that occurred once we came to that decision. So we put it on the agenda to talk about it. And then, so it says council awards the tennis court reconstruction. And our deputy manager, city manager, Mr. Bo Wright in the back here, he presented to us this construction company for $118,300 to renovate and take it down to the dirt. We didn't just want to go pat on top of it. We wanted to start brand new with everything on it. And we looked at several, because when we go to look for a quote like this, we put it out to the public. It is published for several weeks, and we ask contractors to bid on it based on criteria, and then they bring that to us. So it takes a while. This was, like I say, back in last fall, and so we finally decided on this company, NIDY Construction. Next slide, Bo. So I'm going to take y'all through a role play. So we have a proposal to perform the demo and resurface of the tennis court.
Mr. Booth, can you please kind of give us a brief rundown of how much it's going to be for the services that were listed in that contract?
So we've run an estimate, and we think it's about $118,000 and some change.
Mr. Booth, when are you anticipating this work would begin? How long before the tennis court goes out of service and goes into under construction where obviously people can't use it?
Vice Mayor, hold on one second. Bo, when are we estimating that's going to be ready?
Yes, sir. First quarter of next year, March 2026.
That's when we'll begin the demolition and start the renovation. Okay.
So I personally am going to say that I support this. I think that, you know, as you mentioned earlier, you know, considering it's not been done in a very long time, I think this is a huge need. As someone who's played tennis out there, and a lot of our residents have expressed that in front of council, I will personally be the one to make the motion to approve the tennis court demolition, the removal, and the resurfacing as quoted.
And I second that motion.
Do we have any further comments?
No further comments, Madam Mayor.
Comment public?
All in favor for the tennis court demo, removal, and resurfacing? Vote.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
They
Motion
raised their
carries.
hands too.
Typically, there's 5. If there's 3 out of the 5 here, we can actually vote. If there's only 2, we can. Mr. Booth, would you please work with our city attorney, Mr. Commando, to look at the contract and move forward with us getting it signed?
Yes, ma'am. We'll get it drafted up.
Okay, thank you. Next slide. So step 2, and that was, like I say, last fall. So several months go by, we had a few events, so we kind of wanted to wait until those were done. But we started on the reconstruction. You guys probably saw it all being dug up. It was quite something to see, I think. And then they finally did get it finished, actually ahead of time, right?
We did.
Next slide, though. And as you can see, it just looks beautiful. We're very proud of it. We're going to be very protective of it. Only tennis players are allowed on that court. And we're going to have cameras up, because if we've heard some folks have been out there skateboarding and you name it, and they are not allowed to be doing that. And so we will be looking out for folks. I hope they don't do that, because like you say, it's $118,000. That's a lot of money.
And it's your tax money that
it's
you're
your
paying
tax
for
money,
that's
and,
gonna...
you know, somebody destroys it, you know, it's just, it hurts the whole community. It doesn't hurt just one person, which is really unfortunate. Next slide. So the plan right now is to have the official ribbon cutting on May 2nd and a tennis tournament to kind of open it up to the public. Next slide. All right. Any questions? I mean, we're going to open it to questions later as well if you want to go on and then.
Yes, ma'am. I got it.
Okay.
Real quick, can y'all introduce yourselves and maybe what grade y'all are in school, and then if you're seniors or getting close and you know what you're doing next, what your plans are? We'll start on the far end by the photo.
I'm Mackenzie Casabecchi. I'm a senior, and after I'm going to go to University of North Florida and study business management.
My name is Caleb Chapman. I'm a senior at Keystone Heights High School, and I'm going to UNF as well, and I'm going to study exceptional education.
My name is Wyatt Chapman, and I'm in 9th grade.
What? Okay.
Welcome.
My name is Jackson McDaniel. I'm in 11th grade, and I'm going to go to Santa Fe College for Medicare and health.
You said for medical?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm Austin Phillips, and I'm in 11th grade, and when I graduate, I'm going to the Army National Guard.
Oh, excellent.
You delayed entry already, or what's your military occupational specialty?
I don't know yet. I haven't received my scores yet for my ASVAB.
Okay.
But this summer, I'm going to do the 1 week in a month course.
All right. Good deal. Appreciate the decision.
I'm Carly Fiegel. I'm a college and career coach at Keystone Heights High School. So I work closely with juniors and seniors, helping them make sure they're on track to graduate, what they're going to do in life and their post-secondary journey. And then I also work really closely with our CTE programs, which are career and technical education programs as well.
We appreciate you bringing them today. Thank you.
Thank you all for having us.
So my name is Jamie Booth. I'm the city manager on the video there, the CEO of the city, effectively. And so when you look at the organizational chart, my boss is actually my bosses. So everyone who sits at this dais actually is my boss. They hire or fire me. And they give guidance to me, the city manager, through any of the proposals that any motion that they approve, referendum, ordinance that they pass. That's how the city council gives guidance to the city manager to execute things for the city. And then I am the boss of everyone else that's employed by the city that's on this organizational chart. I gave you handouts just because I know it might be tough to look here on the document that's up here on the screen. So my background, I'm a former Army engineer officer. I served for 27 years in the Army, retired about a year ago. The city manager position came available and the city council made the mistake of choosing me. So I've been doing this for I think 9 months now. It's really neat. Actually, that was a question I wanted to ask y'all. How many of you, Bo, can you go back to the city limits slide? How many of y'all actually live in the Keystone Heights, the city of Keystone Heights city limits? So that gray area that the mayor was talking about right there. Most of the time that's the case. I'm just like you. I live out by the airport. When you're going out towards Stark, that's where I grew up, that's where I'm living again, now that I'm back here. But I consider myself from Keystone Heights. When we talk about that situation here in City Hall, we call it the Greater Keystone Heights community. Because though we consider everybody from Keystone, like I still say I'm from Keystone, but I'm actually a citizen of Clay County. I just happen to work here. But most folks are like that. We provide as a city services to the Greater Keystone Heights area. However, our citizens in this grayed out area are the ones that are actually paying property taxes for everything that you see around here. Now, we have other forms of income, but the same equivalent of the money that comes into Clay County, that's what pays from y'all's parents. That's what's paying for, Little Rain Lake parks and Twin Lakes parks and the roads that are outside those city limits. And so we're in not a bit of a bind, but we have a challenge as the city of Keystone Heights. You all probably think of Keystone Beach as your beach, and you're absolutely right. We want you all down there, but we have to maintain it with the funds of the 1,600, I don't know what the number was, I always just say 1,500 folks who actually live in the city of Keystone Heights. And so that's why we have to be very frugal with our funds and make sure that everybody takes care of the assets, because there's about 16,000 to 20,000 people in the Greater Keystone Heights area that are using city infrastructure, and we want them to, but we all got to take care of it because we're operating in a much more limited budget than what the county has. So I'm just going to say broadly, and both you can just go back to the org chart again. I am the direct supervisor of the folks that are in green. We have a total of 17 staff positions in the city right now. And our slide guy in the back, Mr. Wright, is the direct supervisor of anybody that shows up here on blue. I'm just going to ask each of our organizational folks to just give you a summary of what they do. I'm going to start with the folks on the green side. Since she's right behind me, I'm going to ask Miss Wendy Harris to give you a summary of what her duties are.
Hi, thank you guys for coming. I'm the office manager, but I also do some city clerk responsibilities. Have any of you ever heard of the Sunshine Law for the state of Florida? Okay, the Sunshine Law ensures that government business is conducted openly and transparently so the public can stay informed and involved. So a lot of things I do is I set up the meetings for the city council. We have to put it out on our sign and on our website to give notice to the public that we are having a meeting. I take down the minutes, I make the agenda, and this is all of our city council, our commissions, our boards, any type of place where the decision making is coming for the city, we have to follow these rules. Our mayor and our board members and our councilmen cannot talk outside of this room and up here to each other about city business unless they're in this room. And they can go out and talk about the weather or how's your kids or whatever, but to keep things out in the open, everything has to be done in the public. And then you have the right as a citizen to come in and attend and observe any of the meetings. We also have to I keep up with a lot of the records here in City Hall, that if you come in and say, hey, on April the 6th, you had a meeting. I'd like to see the minutes. We're gonna produce that for you. And we're kind of overseen by the state of Florida, so it's really important to keep those intact. I wear many hats, and I supervise the front desk staff, where we do a lot of services for the city. We do notary. We're not with the Clay County Utility Authority, but we do take the bills in. We do some things if you ever get into a car wreck. Hopefully you won't. But we do Clay County Sheriff's Office police records. That we will get with them and get you the records so you don't have to drive out the green code. We also recently, we're not doing it now, but we did the tickets for the fair. So you didn't have to, you could buy them ahead of time. There's a little bit of savings at the time. And then just do like special projects where we all work together as a team. That's one thing I love working here, is that from our council and our mayor to my boss Jamie and all these people you see here, we work as a really good team. And that really helps us to be successful. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Wendy. Drew?
Hi guys. Some of you might recognize me as a teacher, but don't worry, I'm not going to give you a test. I don't do that anymore. I'm the director of events. The council votes on the events that we're doing in the year. They direct the city manager, and that lands on me as the director of events. I don't plan parties. I create memories and moments, is the way I see it. But this job is not just me. I'm working with the community as a whole. So let's say, for instance, 4th of July. 4th of July has a 5K run. I work with that organization, which is a not-for-profit. I work with the Kiwanis for the parade. And then I work with all the vendors and the food trucks and the musicians, and Bo gets the fireworks, because no one wants to trust me with fire. And then we put all of that together and plan and organize that. There's multiple parts to that though. There's the business side. I have a budget. I take it very, very seriously. I'm frugal just in general, but when I'm using taxpayer dollars, we all are very thoughtful about how we spend that money. Especially with if we have property tax coming up, I'm thinking ahead. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing. So I have to take that budget and use it as frugally as possible. Find sponsors, which is usually local businesses or other larger organizations. Then I have to also coordinate with the vendors, food trucks, and all of that to fit in that budget. Then you have the creative part. You have the building of advertisement and flyers and promotions. We have a public information officer. I wish she was here, she would adore her. But she puts all the information out. I provide her with that. And then she usually says, did you think about this, and makes it better. That's what a good team's about. So I have to do all the flyers, promotions, banners, and then ultimately someone still says they don't know about it. So then that's where you come in and you say, I've got to build relationships with the local businesses, with volunteers, with other organizations. So we all come together and we spread that word. Because in a small town, you want someone to know it. Just make it juicy, right? And just throw it out there. So I'm building community with being fiscally responsible. I'm building community with planning the events. But the most important thing I do when I'm creating these events, and this is why the council wants these events. It's not like we all just want to have a good time. We do. We want to have a good time. But you know as well as I do, the key to our community are the relationships built, right? So when I'm creating something, I'm not necessarily thinking I want to have this vendor and this vendor. I want those vendors to come in, and when they're here in town, they feel like they live here. I want the food trucks to feel like they live here. I want the people that are visiting from outside of our city, which is, now is just outside the city limits, right? They're coming in and they feel like they might want to live here. And that builds business. And that builds our ability to have relationships. And it builds awareness for your school too. If you've noticed the Facebook page for the city, we're hitting the school a lot more. And that's our POI guy. She's amazing. But here's the thing. I need volunteers. And you're young. I'm not. Don't know if you noticed. I need help. We have all these organizations that already volunteer. Your parents are probably involved in one of those organizations. We have lots of churches that have all their stuff. What I need is young people to come alongside me, because if you think being organized, planning events, and by the way, they never go like you plan, ever. Hail, We stood underneath a food truck with his granddaughter, and I was like literally blocking her from hail. Because a concert outside is great with hail. But I need volunteers. So if you think that this is something you'd like to do or something you'd like to do on the side, please grab my business card, come see me, and we'll hook you up because I need help. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate it. The other two positions that we have up here, go ahead.
Drew,
Vice Mayor.
how would these folks become aware of volunteer opportunities? And
They're gonna get my business card, and I'm gonna hand them all that before they leave, and they can call me.
Perfect.
But it's all on the website too, any event coming up.
Service credits for that?
Service hours, letters of reference, I will help with resumes, and if they're wanting to hone a certain skill, I bet you there's something I'm doing that can do that.
Get on the website and sign up. You will learn so much and you will have fun.
Yes, I never not have fun.
Thank you,
It's
Drew.
been a lot of trouble.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So the other two positions on here that we don't have folks in the room is Catherine Wills. She's actually a vice president of the Clay County Chamber of Commerce. I might be slightly off on her position, but she works as a contractor for the city and runs our social media, our public information. So we are on Facebook, City of Keystone Heights, Instagram, thanks to one of our younger council members making sure that we got something that everybody actually looks at. So if you want to know what's going on inside the city, just become like or follow those websites. Also, Ms. Tiffany Coleman, the last one on the right, is our fiscal clerk. So we operate on a budget of about $1.5 million in income a year. So you heard the mayor say the average income of a family in Keystone Heights proper in the city limits is about $80,000 a year. So we're operating the entire city on a budget of about 15 to 20 household incomes. That's not terribly a lot when you look at most of our money is going to go to pay for the hourly wages of the employees right here. That doesn't leave but several $100,000 a year to do $120,000 projects like this. And so you can see how we got a lot to get done with our people, and then we have to be very frugal with our remaining funds every year to get infrastructure improvements in the city. All right, I'm gonna hand it over to Bo Wright, Deputy City Manager, and he'll take you through his side of the organizational chart. Thanks, Bo.
Well, thank you guys for coming. I know at least one of you from several years ago. But so I too, like Jamie, graduated from Keystone. So I'll use a sports analogy. My dad was a high school football coach. So deputy city manager is almost like the assistant coach to the head coach, right? So while elected officials, like everybody up here on the dais, they make the decisions and the goals for the community, for the town, for the city that we live in. We're tasked with actually putting those. How do we make it work? Who's going to do the work? How do we maintain it? How do we budget it? So we're tasked with that. So day to day. So first, I help manage multiple departments. So we've got Public Works, who takes care of our parks and recreation, our streets, our bathrooms, making sure the tennis courts are blowing. They do a mirror. I mean, you never know on any given day what you're going to come into as part of our Public Works team, and we have a great team. And Garrett will talk in a little bit about that. So if something isn't working well, we help figure out the solutions. How do we make this better? How, even if something is working, can we improve it? Second, we handle projects. We've talked over and over about the tennis courts. There's big projects, there's small projects, anything from, trying to keep the Geneva jungle, which is aging, keeping it safe for kids to go on. And there's always day-to-day projects that we're working on, and how do we continue to make things better for the citizens of Keystone. So third, we look to help solve problems in our community, anywhere from safety to our street signs, how we're growing, how we're looking at, planning and zoning is one part of it, how we're looking at, okay, there's not a whole lot of land left, but what land we do have, what do we want to see it turn into? Okay, so is it going to be a residential area? Is it going to be a commercial area? Will it be a church area or organizational area? There's a lot of different things that go into that. Planning and zoning is actually really interesting. It can get tedious. If you like it, it's really fun to try to get into and learn. And that's kind of where I'm at, is trying to learn that planning and zoning side, because I haven't been in it a whole long time. So finally is the help facilitate the city budget. Jamie works very hard on that. Has actually put in a ton of work on our budget this year. But as was mentioned before, we have to be very careful with. It's not just a big pot of money that we're spending. It's the residents that live here. What can we do best and most effectively to to be a good steward of what we're given to deliver a good product to the people who live here and make them happy. So finally, why does this matter? Without someone coordinating everything, city can become disorganized fast, right? Things could go downhill, infrastructure can start to fail, roads can start to fail. Stormwater, when you don't realize it until you get a hurricane, all of a sudden your streets are flooded, right? All these things can start to go downhill very quickly. So as a deputy city manager, I feel like I help make the community a safe, clean, and a good place to live. So if you're someone who likes leadership, problem solving, and helping to make a real impact, it's a great career path. I mean, you know, it's being able to come to work every day, and when you leave, I know I've done my best to help make this city great for the people who live here, and it's a real honor to be able to do that. So, thank you.
Thanks, Bo. Garrett, want to jump on up next?
Hey guys, I'm Garrett Cox. I'm the Public Works Supervisor. I work with several other people under my belt. So like I have Charlie, he runs around and he jumps on street signs and stuff like that, making sure they're clean, easy to see, they're not hidden behind a tree or anything like that. I have John, he's my inmate supervisor. So we have a crew that comes out of Lottie Correctional Institution and comes out here and it helps against their game time because it's a faith-based work camp. So you'll see them on the side of the roads, weeding, mowing, pulling stuff out of the way. And I have Joe, he's my jack of all trades. If anything goes down, he works on all that stuff. He also has another guy called Kevin. He's another one of my jack of all trades. He, what's the word?
That's how to fix it.
He's basically like a mechanic when it comes to any tractor parts there are. One of the big things we do is making sure roadways are safe and easily passable. So if you get branches, water, leaves, and all that stuff building up on the sides, it's not safe. You'll hit the end of it. It'll send you off to the other side of the road. Don't want any of that to happen. We don't really do much with sewer lines or water, the CCUA. And then repairing the roads like potholes, curbs, and paving and road marking. So like all the paint that you see on the roads. Oh, y'all have driver's lessons, right? So y'all know what double lines are and all that other fun jazz? Great. We make sure all that stuff's put out so people know, maybe I should be in this traffic lane right now.
Yeah, you guys were out there doing all the new lines for the park
Yes,
last week. You can see all that, they were out there doing all that the day before the Easter services.
Yeah, we just knocked out the, behind Clyde's.
Yeah, and it'll be behind Clyde's too, I saw that.
Yeah. Which we're about to do the, stuff over next to the daycare and on the other side of the Whiskies too.
Parking slots on Nightingale Street.
Looks really nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do a lot of, I think they're fun, people see it as work. I mean, it's a trade job. You get to work with heavy machinery, who doesn't like that stuff? Tractors are always fun, running dump trucks, street sweepers, stuff like that. Chainsaws, who doesn't like running a chainsaw?
That's the truth right there, brother.
It's like the most satisfying thing you can do is cut up a tree and watch it fall. One of the big things we do, especially right now, we're gearing up for hurricane season. So, we always make sure we look at like fuel and stuff like that. All of our tractors and chainsaws are all topped off and ready, prime working condition. Our chipper to make bulky stuff a lot more compact. That way, the second anything drops, we're on Johnny on the spot, moving it out of the way. Vehicles can move around. EMS can get from A to B in a timely manner, stuff like that. All right.
Thank you, Garrett. I appreciate it. Debbie, you want to come up and talk code enforcement real quick?
Hi, I'm Debbie. I graduated from Keystone too, a long, long time ago. I got grandchildren in there now. So I'm one of the code enforcement officers. Matt is the other one. And we ensure that properties comply with local, state, and sometimes federal codes. Codes cover building safety standards, zoning and land use, property maintenance, signage regulations, and health and sanitation codes. The city is complaint-driven, which means a citizen must report a possible violation. Once received, we will conduct an inspection to determine if a violation exists. When a violation is found, we then issue warnings or notices to correct the problem, providing a timeline for compliance. If the issue is not resolved, a hearing before a special judge will be set. A big part of the job is education. We, as officers, often help property owners understand the rules and guide them, guide them towards compliance rather than just punishing violations. We help with public safety by preventing dangerous structures, fire hazards, and health risks. Community appearance by maintaining property value and neighborhood pride. Fairness, making sure everyone follows the same rules and preventing unsafe or unfair advantages. And environmental protection, stopping illegal dumping and protecting natural resources. We're not just rule enforcers, but community protectors, ensuring our towns remain safe, healthy, and welcoming for everybody. It's a lot of fun, but people don't always like us, so sometimes we're the bad guys.
It's tough to enforce the rules.
Yeah.
Y'all need to get, how are y'all doing?
We do. We probably need to scoot because we have, gotta get back to the bus.
Gotta make it by the bell.
Yeah.
I apologize, Matt's not, we do run a cemetery, and Matt's our main man out of the cemetery, keeping that running, does great jobs for us, so.
Selling plots, maintaining 15 acres, or.
Yes.
That Meryl.
Super quick.
Yes.
They can't miss the bus.
Yeah.
So, oh, we got 2 seconds. I hope, this is the first time we've actually done this, so a timing thing, and, you know I probably should have got a little less time myself. If they have any questions, send your questions to Carly, and she'll send them on to me, and we will try to answer as best we can. I apologize, we didn't have enough time to take many pictures today. I mean, questions.
Maybe y'all can just,
Come over here real quick, we'll get the seal in the background and grab a very fast photo so we can get y'all out of here. Come over here, come towards the center. Yeah, come over here, and I'll bracket you outside.
okay, so y'all need to screw down here.
Everybody's ankle in like I
yes,
am.
Angle.
There you go, and get close, there we go.
So we just screwed a little bit more.
Keep coming our way.
Come down.
All right.
There's just a little bit more. So, and then you gotta squeeze in, because I need y'all tight.